Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Prime here, and welcome back to another album review. And today we're going to be kind of talking about and going through the album from Knox Hill entitled Blacklist. I don't know if you can see that. One second. There it is. Yeah, Knox Hill's Blacklist. There you go. Yeah, this is the album that we're going to be covering today. It's 14 tracks. And yeah, I'm just gonna be giving my thoughts on it. I've listened to it a couple times. Came out not too long ago. I believe it came out a week ago or something like that. I don't remember. I don't know when you're seeing this. I think you're seeing this on Friday. I could be incorrect, but yeah, I just kind of want to go through and talk about the record. If you guys don't know, Knox Hill, he actually, before I knew he was a YouTuber, I found him on my release radar for a song he did with Ryan Oakes. And I was like, oh. And then that turned out to be a song off his record Chaos Theory, which I didn't really listen to. I just listened to that one single with Ryan Oakes. I thought it was a pretty good track. And then now we're here. He's released this new record. Apparently he poured a lot of time into it, and I just wanted to give it a listen, and now we're here to talk about it. Let's go ahead and get into this. So, Knox Hill is a YouTuber, rapper, father, and he's been doing music a long time. I mean, his most notable song, at least on Spotify, is a song that came out in 2014 called "Creatures Lie Here" with almost 7 million plays, which is more than everything else on his Spotify by a mile. And so he clearly caught some traction. I don't know how long he's been doing music, but he clearly caught some traction. Has been doing music since that date, maybe even before that. And he's been releasing some projects, he's been releasing some singles, he's been on features, and now we come over here with this project, Blacklist, which is primarily produced by two people. One is him, and the other is another person in the YouTube music scene known as Samad Savage, who also just releases a new record, which I will be doing a video on eventually. But those two are the main producers of this record. And it becomes very clear that these two have different ways of thinking in production, and it kind of shows up and appears throughout the entire record. But let's go ahead and talk about it. First track on there, it's very clear in the intro that we start with here, "Hip Hop is Dead," which is a Samad Savage produced track, and it's a decent intro, and it kind of takes us back to how hip hop was originated in the States, back to the 80s, and then talk about the 90s, and the blow up of into the mainstream, people like Eminem and Outkast, right? And then then we kind of propel. We talk about the Bling era. We talk about Jay-Z, even though he was 90s as well. We talk about 50, like G Unit, right? We talk about all these people and how kind of the movement and in the timeline of hip hop. And there's a lot of good flows and rhyme schemes on this thing. The technicals are on point on this track. Beat is nicely constructed, nicely varied. It doesn't get too stale in the way that a lot of storytelling beats tend to do. And my only gripe with this song is that it kind of paints the newer landscape of hip-hop in a bit of a negative light. A little bit of that mumble rapper versus lyricist. It doesn't dance that line too much. It was like a real quick comment. But it's more of just like a storytelling thing. He was more of a kind of performative over across a timeline. Now, as we kind of get into it, we kind of get into the second track here, Over It, which has a feature credit by Samad Savage, production by Samad Savage, as well as, I believe he's a Persian rapper known as Locksmith. And this instrumental, my God, what is this? It's a super distorted instrumental, very, very heavy sub bass, lots of synth playing, and a slow-moving percussion section. This is peak Drain. This is like some Drain Gang shit. Like this is, or it gives me a lot of the Quebec vibes off of the "For Me to You" tape. A lot of those super distorted sounds on there. A little bit of like that "Where You Go" energy. A very sweet and soft hook from Samad Savage, which doesn't really match the energy of Knox or Locksmith at all. But it's fine. It doesn't take away from the song, but I don't know. It doesn't add to the intensity. It pulls it back, which I'm not 100% a fan of. But it's a creative decision that you can take it or leave it. And there's good flows and flow patterns and from both rappers. Good feature performances from both. It's an alright song. I like it. Next, we move on to the track Checkmate featuring rapper High Res, who, if you don't know, if you are on hip hop Twitter, you've seen his NFT takes and his crypto takes. You've definitely seen him about. It's a warbling string instrumentation with a synthetic flute on the melody, trap percussion, and a drill sub bass, which is one of the weirdest things for me. It was like this weird warbling. It's like a wavy string instrumental with a synthetic flute kind of sprinkled in. It's centered, when I say trap percussion drill, I mean like the snare, and the hats, and the kick. I believe the kick is, from what I remember, I believe the kick as well is all in that trap style. But that sub bass, those 808s and that sub bass is all drill. The way it's kind of like the way it kind of bounces and the way it kind of interjects and has a strong, it gives me reminiscence of a drill beat. Don't know if that's intentional or not. And I like the themes of the song, particularly in the last verse that Knox gives about the pain pill industry and how they exploit the innocents and, big pharma. And it's referenced on a couple other songs later down the record as well. High Res does fine, but he's almost the most underwhelming part of the song. I don't mean to disrespect High Res, but I really feel like that last verse from Knox, it was kind of the big poignant point of that song. I really enjoyed it though. I really enjoyed that song. And one thing I'd like to say is throughout this record, even though it's 14 tracks, it's almost an hour of material, and you can very clearly see that Knox is a student of the 2000s. Really big student of the 2000s. Like that's where he is lying on. You notice there's a lot of third versage in this, which is fine. Which is fine. I don't mind that, but it's a really throwback. Because how many songs do you hear nowadays with 3 verses? It's just not a thing you hear a lot. It's mostly, mostly you get like your 3-minute 30 is like your cutoff track, unless it's like a really long intro or outro. Normally you get like your 3-minute 30 maximum tracks. You get like a hook, hook, verse, close. But no, we get the bring back of the third verse like in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, like we had. And then, which I think is really cool, that we kind of throw it back to that kind of more content, more versage. There's more music to listen to, which I've always liked. And now we move on to the track Civil War, which is one of my least favorite cuts here in terms of songs. And for some reason, at least to me, my ears, the vocals sound really weird on this. And it's produced by a different person. I'm struggling to remember his name, but it's produced by someone that isn't Knox or Samad. And it sounds so much more compressed, but softer. So like the vocals and the instrumentation sound more compressed. But unlike in like an Imagine Dragons song where it's super compressed and loud, this is super compressed and soft. And, it's weird. I don't really get it. The beat's kind of dull. It sounds like a cheap version of NF's The Search instrumental, the title track, not the record. And the song just seems like mostly filler to my ears. Doesn't seem to be speaking any greater narrative or anything. At least that's to my ears. And, it's not the most remarkable thing in the track list. Moving on here to You Mad Yet, it's a little bit different, a little bit better. And, it's pretty simple instrumental melodies with octave pianos. Once again, we throw back to that heavily distorted sub bass and some cool open hi-hat percussive hits. I'm not gonna lie, I don't hear a lot of these hi-hat percussives, but I'm hearing it's almost like a stick on the hi-hat, but then you hear it close, and it's not a sound I hear a lot, and it's kind of cool. I like it in hip-hop. Lots of lower vocal layering as well, kind of replicating a darker side of Knox, or devilish influence. And the third verse is the most ear-grabbing of the 3, with the most profound statements, also the best flowing and rhyme schemes. I really like the way the third verse sounds. Knox, for some reason, on this record, it really pops off on the third verse when given the opportunity, which is normally he is in the third verse. Whenever there is a rap feature, he'll give the second verse to the feature. Next up, we have the song White Privilege Shit, which this is like, I don't really know how to feel about this. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like a hella corny skit. I'm gonna be real. It's a hella corny skit in like the middle of the record for someone who doesn't know anything about Knox. So if you don't know anything about Knox Hill, it's a super corny skit, and you don't understand it, and it's a waste of space on the record. It's still a waste of space on the record regardless. But I would argue the thing that makes it a little bit more digestible is this is almost like, almost like this is some real heavy Eminem leaning influence here. Taking doing like a skit in the middle. It's not a very common thing anymore because, they're normally, I don't know, the format of the LP has changed so much. But the features like in on the skit from rapper Grizzy Hendrix and YouTuber This Offends Me TV seem very natural in what they're saying, and it doesn't seem too forced or scripted. But I still think it's a little unnecessary. It's just, I don't know, it was a little off-putting for me. I was expecting, when I saw the features, I was like, oh shit, is Todd gonna sing? Is Grizzy gonna rez? Is this gonna be a banger? And it wasn't. It was a skit, and I was a little bit sad, but it is what it is. And then we move into the track number 7 here, Off My Chest, which is a free-form singular rap verse song with some pretty decent punchlines. I'm not gonna lie. I like the line about the Fibonacci sequence, and he does it, the 0, the 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. I really like the way he did that. It was really clean. I'm not sure how many people have picked up on that, if you're not a nerd like me. The beat is very boom bap, very reminiscent of the early 2000s, as we discussed earlier. But once again, unlike Civil War, which I actually like, I like this cut way more than Civil War. It doesn't really add too much to the record. It just seems like a little extra filler. But it is decent rapping, and I don't hate it or anything. And at this point, we're halfway through the record, and I'm a little scared. I'm like, because I haven't really heard any song that I really like, one that's gonna go in the loved list, one that is like, going in the catalog of shit that I'm gonna listen to, because I have one playlist that's like over 1,000 songs, and that's what I listen to. So I was getting a little concerned. I'm like, this is just gonna be like no killer all filler, the album. I was a little concerned because I hadn't really liked anything enough to really like throw it on repeat. And then we get to the second half of this record, and the second half of this record is amazing. The back half of this record, normally the front half of most records are pretty great. Like, key example, like Drake CLB, like Young Thug's Punk, like Kanye West Donda. Like, the first half of records are normally it, and they start petering out. And there's like normally like one good cut on the back end. But this is a consistent, the tracks 8 through 14 are all consistently fantastic songs. I want to get into these real quick. The first one here is I Need Help with John Schultz, I believe is how you say it. It's slow-moving guitar instrumental. It's very Juice WRLD inspired. I really like the kind of the angle it works in. Speaking of Juice WRLD, it's a great song about needing help with his mental health, needing to improve for those around him and other people. Don't be afraid to reach out for mental help. It's a great ending of the song in his verse, saying that anyone can be affected by mental health issues. And once again, even though this is a great song and I love it, there's one real issue that I feel like it ends so abruptly in the middle of the hook. Just ending. It doesn't really have like a clean cutoff. It almost sounds cut short. And then we get thrown into the next track, Hip Hop Show, which is a little like a concept piece where it's a concert style opening and a concert style closing, but it doesn't sound like a concert song. It sounds like something that it's this like lo-fi hip hop to the max, but like with lyrics on it. It's a lo-fi hip hop instrumental produced by Samad, of course. The way Knox sounds like the type of instrumental, when I heard it, I was like, this isn't really him, but he sounds amazing on it. He sounds really at home on this lo-fi instrumental, and I like the way the chorus is layered up vocally, even if it gives me a little bit like Jack Harlow-ish kind of vibes. The way the layered chorus, how he's done on previous songs, like a song called Nothing with J-Rock and Problem. So I mean, even if it is a little bit like that, it's still really clean and really cool. And I love the pitch percussion added as little embellishments from the glockenspiel. I think it's really clean. And the next track we have is I Can't Breathe featuring Oswin Benjamin. And this is a dark and ghostly banger of an instrumental from Mark Goebel. Reminds me of something a little bit like off Skepta's Vicious EP a few years ago. And I like a lot of the features of this track. I like the vocal layer, the lowered vocals and Knox verses, and it adds a nice layer of depth to them. It adds more forced what he's saying. The chorus is very haunting and hypnotic. Really adds to the atmosphere of the songs, along with the gasps of breath. We're saying I can't breathe, like the gas, like the strained gaps of breathing. I really like the way that comes through. And then we have Oswin Benjamin's feature, whose flows are smoother than a bottle of Jack Daniels on a night out. Oh my word, that he was so clean, man. And the next track we get here is my second favorite track on the record, Gamble. And it's the shortest song on here outside of the intro cut at just under 3 minutes. The beat is very modern with its compositional aspects, but Knox doesn't just do like bog standard triplet trap. He really puts his own spin on this type of instrumental. I really, once again, like the layered choruses on this one. It's a real modern banger. I could blast in the car and it would sound like it belongs on any hip-hop radio station anywhere in the States or even in the UK. It just sounds like something that fits, and I really like the way this song sounds. Like, like a gamble. I don't know. I like the way it sounds. I really like that track. And then we get into my favorite cut, which is Long Way Home featuring Shelby Morgan. And this is a deeply personal cut about Knox's life story, how he lived as a young adult, how he had to struggle through life, and it's just a great storytelling cut about him, his kids, and his career, and what he had to go through to endure. And I believe there was also a lyric on there that said something about not being able to, like the doctor saying you wouldn't be able to survive a few weeks, something like that. I don't really know Knox's life story or anything. I don't know if he has like a similar situation to like Luke Gone, where like he had like a severe childhood illness and that like made him like incapacitated him or something. But if it was something like that and he overcame that, that is incredible. Shelby Morgan, by the way, amazing chorus from her. She really outdoes herself and has made a fan. I'm genuinely impressed with what she put together here. And great guitar-driven instrumental with fantastic percussive embellishments. This is a great song, and honestly, one of like the best song of Knox's career here. This is a great personal cut that really throws me back, man. To like I don't know. This sounds like I don't know. This is like some real MMLP2 vibes. And that's not a bad thing. I really like, like the atmosphere of this. And next, the penultimate cut here is One World Cypher, which features a host of people: Grizzy Hendrix, King Blitz, Jaron Benton, DK, Gatsby, Massive Man, Vinjay, Dan Bull, 6 Seconds, Mac Lethal, Futuristic, and Samad Savage. 12 people in total. And the beat is like, and I can't talk about every single person, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about the beat and then who I thought was my favorites. The beat is very interesting with the detuned synth and these bling era percussive grooves. It really kind of fits, and it's not and it doesn't vary up a lot, but it does do under Samad and Knox's verses and Six's verses as well. Those are where it kind of gets a little bit different. And I don't know if that's like at the request of, well, because I know Samad and Knox produced this. I don't know if Six like requested this kind of change, but it's kind of cool. And then my favorite verses, my favorite people on this thing: King Blitz, very clean; Vinjay, great, smooth, buttery; 6 Seconds, lyric god; Futuristic, smooth as well, very, very smooth, a lot of Vinjay vibes; and then Samad Savage as well. Those 6, was that 6 that I mentioned? Yeah, or no, 5. Those 5 had the best feature verses on there, but and here's the thing: no one was bad. I'm not saying that the rest of them are trash or anything. No, those are just like the 5 that stuck out to me the most. Except for Knox, I haven't included Knox in this features list, but Knox does a good job on his back end. I'm not including him in like this like best verses thing. I'm talking about the features here. My least favorite, I guess, was Massive Man, but even he wasn't bad. I don't like Massive Man's music too much. But like his verse wasn't bad. I don't dislike his verse. It was just, if you're the worst of like 12 great verses, does that make you bad? No. And Knox, as I said, ties up back end as well really nice. There's a lot of cool like I think there's this one lyric where he says, what is the fucking lyric? I had it pulled up here earlier. Now this line was great. Now I get the sawdust, don't mind me. My trail's NFT, but I don't spit in crypto for the USD. I keep it real on my shirt like an NFT, which I think that is a great lyric. And then we kind of go out to the closing track here. Victory, once again, Josh Schultz back on the hook. Another slow instrumental, this time with pizzicato strings and choral singing as the main instrumental melodies. Percussion is present, but it's not as booming as it was in previous cuts. And has another NF-inspired build-up at the end, but with better and grander instrumentation than on Civil War. And Josh Schultz, once again, has another great appearance on here as well on the hook. And that wraps up the record. Blacklist is, that's the record there. And I'm going to go ahead and, sorry about the video darkening, I'm going to go ahead and go to this screen. And I'm going to go through and like the song, show you guys the songs I really liked and the songs that are going on the playlist. Songs that are going on the playlist are One World Cypher, Long Way Home, Gamble, I Can't Breathe, Hip Hop Show, and I Need Help. Those are the songs that are going on the liked. That is 6 out of 14. And I liked this record, man. I liked let me rephrase that. I really liked the back end of this record. I thought it was a great kind of, as my camera gets all foggy and blurry, I thought it was a pretty decent record. It was better than Chaos Theory. I think. I went and did a short listen through Chaos Theory before I went and did this album review, and this is definitely better. But yeah, I really liked it. I enjoyed the back half of this. Right, the front half I think was a little disappointing for me. But I think he really cleaned shit up on the back end. And even though like there were some good cuts in the front as well, like the intro cut and some of the beats are really good. I think that the things I took away from this is that Knox is a great lyricist, not the best on production, and I think Samad provided the better beats here on this record. But I hope that next time he drops a record, I don't know, it'll be in a year, in 2 years, or however long it takes for him to drop another body of work. Hopefully he can clean up that production shit. But Samad came through with some great beats. Knox had some good production as well. I don't really know everything he did, but there was a lot of good work on this thing, and I think there's a lot of room to grow. And while I don't want to say I'm a Knox Hill fan, I want to become a Knox Hill fan, and I think I can if he continues to grow on this upward trajectory. I'm feeling a light to decent 5 on this record. But if you guys do want to check out the record, you are more than welcome to. I will leave the link down in the description for you to go listen to it. It's a good record. Give it a listen. And I don't know, show him some love on Twitter or Instagram. Do that if you enjoy it. I will be tweeting him as well that I reviewed this. So hopefully he sees this. And I hope anyone that is featured on this record, if you see this, I want you to know, no hate, all love. Thank you all for watching. Take care, drink water. I love you, and goodbye.